At the very beginning, my vision of ASUS was as about a company that produces only computers and their accessories. Now I've learned about their monitors, headphones, smartphones and even routers. I've never played with their network devices before. Actually, our team spotted some of them on Computex exhibition last year. They certainly brought our attention, and today we speak about model RT-AC59U. Quite simple, but with a wide range of functions. As always, welcome to TechFellas, mine is Bogdan, and let's take into it. I will say good words about the outer look. There is practically nothing glossy in it, everything is textured and with a matte finish. Why am I so happy? Cause glossy routers tend to catch scratches quickly, even due to simple dust, so it's better not to place them on visible location. As you may have guessed, this guy has no such problem. All indicators live on top of the body. When they are not active, you may not even tell their presence. Just a pity that it's not possible to completely turn them off through the admin panel. At the back there is a power switch, a USB port, a favorite housewife's button called WPS, as well as 1 gigabit WAN port and 4 LANs of the same grade. Unfortunately, no aggregation is included. Next, quite common thing, but you can hang it on the wall in 4 directions. Antennas, by the way, are non-removable, non-replaceable, only breakable and had to buy newable. Whatever. Let me share with you some specs and general impressions of the router. It supports 5 GHz Wi-Fi, there is multi-user MIMO mode that allows 4x4 pairing if you use 2.4 GHz network and 2x2 for 5 GHz one. It all can be turned on and off in admin panel, as well as beamforming. You can deal with IPTV related protocols. In addition, there is a number of witty features that we will pay attention to when start talking about the web interface. In a daily testing with the loaded ether, various objects around and roaming people on the signal way, network speed of this router is pretty close to the one you can basically find in competing models from other manufacturers. The good news is that the router signal is not afraid of room obstacles. For example, at my place there is a wall that most routers just cannot shoot through. When AC59U, God bless such naming, although losing some speed, gave us okay numbers when using both 5 GHz connection and simple 2.4. For local or remote configuration, you can use a web interface or a mobile app. Let's start from the first one. It pleases and scares at the same time with a number of manual settings. In addition to MIMO management, which I already mentioned, you can create 6 guest networks and for each of them set their own limits, which in many routers is impossible by default. There is QoS, where you can control network bandwidth and check this data simultaneously. By the way, in terms of login and analysis, this router is just a dream for a mature admin. This guy registers a lot of information, which will certainly be more than enough to clarify the nature of some problem. It also has built-in diagnostic tools like ICMP request, NSLOOKUP, traceroute and netstat. You can set routing rules, enable and configure port forwarding, work with the DNS. In short, this could be a movie about so many things that many could have forgotten the existence of. So let's go down to earth and talk about daily functions. For instance, here, using USB port, you can expand access to files on the storage device from outside via Samba or AI disk. To my regret, the print server cannot be managed from here, but you can remotely start computers using Wake on LAN. Alas, such thing as parental control let us down. By itself, it's a simple restriction of the access to the network for certain devices at the time you want. If you want to cut off child's access to specific things, you will have to sacrifice them by yourself, since the only way to do so is through the common firewall, which by the way comes in handy as very advanced. It is possible to block not only URLs, but also websites with certain keywords, as well as services. Now let's talk about a mobile app, which is called ASUS Router. In fact, it collected about 70% of capabilities of web interface, except perhaps the things that are really too complicated to work with on a smartphone. I'm glad that functions are not cut deliberately and most of them come in full format. In the end, as well as web interface, ASUS Router app is very pleasing with its potential. Summarizing the stuff, RT-AC59U is not made for a newbie, which is clear by the nominal specs and the list of supported technologies, as well as by the features that will make hair stand on heads of people who don't understand much in network equipment. Also, there are competitors with mostly the same technical specs and the same number of antennas for the similar cost, which means that the amount of mentioned features is not a justification of the price. They are mostly a pleasant bonus for experienced users and those who want to make their mind go nuts. But in the end, this router obtains stable wireless connection with adequate numbers and speed, and I think it definitely deserves your attention. So I will leave a couple of links for buying this guy in the description box below. And if you like this video, then why not to support our channel by subscribing to it, hitting the like button, ringing the bell to stay tuned for more cool content. My thanks for watching and cheers!